ladies, this is Marcia here with another episode of the Lady Strong Fitcast. Today I have member spotlight, Ashlie Daigle. Her and I, we're going to be talking about how to achieve the impossible.
So the big question is this. How were two women who didn't cheat and purchase a gym franchise model, how were they able to spread their mission and purpose by empowering and transforming hundreds of women's lives through fitness, nutrition, mindset, and accountability with a micro gym business model of women only? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. We are Lady Strong Fitness.
Ashlie, how are you today?
I'm great. Real good. Real good.
Good. So I like how you put, I read your bio, by the way. As you guys very well know, before you come on the episode, we have you kind of do a bio so we get to know a little bit more about your background. And when I read it, honestly, I was laughing the entire time. Like, you have such a great sense of humor, and I love it. And that not only carries on in your bio, but also inside the studio. I had the opportunity to get to see you at the Christmas party, you dancing, or again, I mean, you're just a ball of joy. You're like the life of the party. So I'm so glad you're on here today. So, Ashlie, I know who you are, but for some of our ladies who are watching today, please tell a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So I am originally from Thibodaux, which is Thibodaux, Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
I've lived around a little bit, Michigan, Tennessee, and have been here in the Midwest for 6 years.
Okay. What brings you to the Midwest? I'm curious. Or what brought
It was a dude.
At least you're honest. That's okay.
And I said, I lived in Michigan for a bit, and I was like, 2 years, winter, we'll see how it goes. And I hated it. And I was like, if anybody ever wants me to move where winter is, and here I sit before you, a big liar, but
here you are. Yes, I love it. How spontaneous. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Ashlie, it's been 6 months now since you've been a part of our community.
Yep.
Let's talk about your starting point. How did that all come about?
Sure.
Why did you decide to join Lady Strong Fitness, and tell a little bit about a background before joining Lady Strong Fitness?
Absolutely. So I think I had an interesting experience in the pandemic. I know for a lot of people, it was a hard time to try to commit to fitness, but this was actually the first time in my life where I ever did commit. So I'd been going to a gym for about a year, and then everything shut down. They were doing Zoom, exercises. So I'm working out in my garage because it was like, this is the only human being I can see other than my immediate family. So I was able to sort of commit when the gym reopened. I was back in, and I started out 2 times a week, then built up to 3. So it's been a very gradual process.
Sure.
And then, I think I saw an ad for the gym, y'all's gym, on Instagram at some point in June, I guess. And I felt like it sort of plateaued at my other place. And it was a hard decision to leave because I really like the people, both the coaches and just like the other members. But I was like, you know what? I need to take this up a level. I want to try something that's a little more difficult, a little more challenging. And Lady Strong is that.
I love it. Very cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your results. Because like you said, you plateaued at the other gym. Coming here, since joining, tell the audience what are some of the non-scaled victories and scaled victories that you've maybe had.
Yeah, so I tend to focus more on the non-scale victories. So like I have always lived my life. It's hard to tell. My personality is big, but my frame is small. So I'm 5'1". I've got good genes. I've always been a little person. So I was raised in a time period where women were supposed to be small, and we still value that as a society, right? So it never occurred to me that like I should work to be strong and strength, because women are like, I don't want to get too buff, which like to get too buff, you have to do so much, but we're so afraid of being too strong and too big, right? And so for me, it's more the small things. Like I noticed my sense of balance is increased.
Yes.
I'm doing yoga on the side. I can do things in that I couldn't do before. Or like, one of my goals for the new year was going to be to finally do a box jump on like the high box at the gym. And I told Emily at a class like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, how do I like work up to it? And she's like, well, you want to work on your form. And she's like, but I'm pretty sure you could do it right now. She's like, do you want to try? And I was like, I guess. And I literally cranked like 3 out in a row. And I was like, well, I couldn't do it in the workout. And she's like, today we did sets of 5. You literally just did 3. Like you can do this.
Awesome.
And I was like, I was
Yes.
so excited. I was so
See,
pumped.
and this is why I decided to entitle this episode How to Achieve the Impossible. Because I'll be honest with you, number one, a lot of women look at that box and they're like, oh my God, I can't do this. This is
It's
scary.
scary. You're
Yeah.
gonna bust your face
But you
open.
did it. You did it. You overcame it. And now
Mm,
you're
mm,
killing it.
mm,
Not only
mm.
that, reading your bio, you have some other goals you want to achieve for 2023, one of which is to run your first 10K.
Yeah.
Insane. You're literally skipping the 5K and going straight to the
You know,
10K.
I did a 5K this past year. And
Okay,
here's the other
got
thing.
it.
This is another non-scale victory. I've always wanted to run. I finally got to where I kind of like it, but it's because I've done all these things along the way that have increased my stamina, that have increased my endurance. I
Yes,
can now run and enjoy it. Whereas before, I didn't have the stability and the balance and all those things you need to be able to do it without feeling like I was dying. So I did
100%.
the color run 5K in like the
Okay,
summer or something, and
sure.
I ran the whole thing, and I
Okay.
was like sweaty, and it was also like 65 degrees. It was like a perfect day to run. But I finished it and I was like, oh, I just did that. And I ran the whole thing and the end. So I think I could probably kind of like the box jump. I think I could probably do a 10K. I just
Yeah,
haven't tried. It's more mental than
100%.
physical, you
So
know?
let me ask you, like,
Yeah.
that's my next question. You talk about the mental side of things. Let's talk
Hmm.
about your mentality. You have such a good mentality. Where does that come from? Have you always been that way, or is this something that by habit you just developed over time?
That's a good question. Have I always, I'm a very positive person. Like this is just genetics, I guess. I'm always just very enthusiastic and I don't embarrass easily, which is helpful because I don't mind looking silly. In fact,
Okay.
half the time I'm looking silly on purpose because I'm dancing and like being weird. But I think it's about trying to make small incremental things
Mhm.
happen, especially in the new year. There's so much information coming at you about new year, new me. I need to do all the things at the same time, but that's not how meaningful change happens. You
100%
have to
agree.
start off very small with, if you're starting from nothing, I'm going to do one walk a week or two,
Yeah.
whatever is just a little bit, and then you'll
Yeah.
look back later and you have built in these habits, but you can't just do it all at the same time, and you have to be willing to try new things. That can be
Yeah.
scary,
Yeah.
but I think if I had 2.5 years ago, if I said I'm going to join a gym and walked into Lady Strong, I think I would have been like, mm-mm. Because it's intense. I've never thought I wanted a gym where the music's like I never thought I wanted a person with a microphone. I had to work my way into it. And this
Sure.
was a time in my life that I'm ready for that. So you kind of have to look at what you can do now.
Yeah.
I've never been a person that likes to make big long-term goals. I'm just kind of like boop, 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 boop. And
Yep.
then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I did that.
Yeah.
But it's just one day at a time is kind
I
of my
like that.
philosophy.
I like that. Ladies, I hope you're taking notes because Ashlie is providing, yes, take notes. And if you're driving, take mental notes. So,
Yeah, yeah, be safe.
okay. Yeah. So, with that being said, what has been your favorite part thus far since joining Lady Strong Fitness?
Oh my gosh. That's a tough question because I love it so much. Like I really do. Everybody there is kind and supportive, be it the coaches, be it the owners, be it, whoever's at the front desk, be it the other members. Like people want each other to succeed. They're very friendly. You can have chit chats before class, and you can see no matter if people have been there 2 years, 6 months, 1 month, everybody's in there, everybody's working hard. Classes are full, energy's high, and like I need like people who how people are like, I'm going to go by myself to a gym today and do things and then go home. I don't understand. I
Sure.
need a class environment. I need that social aspect.
Yeah.
And this gym, and I mean, the Christmas party, the gala, like, are you kidding
Yes.
me? Like, where can a 40-year-old woman go dancing? I don't know, but like, y'all have given me two opportunities where I would have had zero because, like, I don't
I
know.
love
I
it.
don't know
And
where that
by the
happened.
way, Ashlie is a good dancer, believe it or not.
It's it's
Girl, you
true.
got moves. You got moves. I don't know where is it. It has to be genetics. I don't know. Self-taught
I
something. Either or.
I've always had rhythm, and I think, like I said, it's about rhythm and confidence. And if you got that,
You're
people
good.
think you know what you're doing,
Oh,
even if you don't.
100%.
You
Yeah,
just
I
pull it
would
off.
agree with that. I would agree with
Yeah.
that. So I want to talk about something you mentioned about how you set like increment small goals. Now, let's
Sure.
be honest, nothing is perfect. You always have some sort of
Mm-mm.
struggles. let's talk about that. Like, how did you get past any of those struggles to get to those goals that you got to in increments? Because for anyone that's listening today, I'm sure they're trying to achieve something that in their eyes might be impossible. But if there ever comes a point where they are struggling, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, so I love learning. I'm a big reader. So my full shirt says I lift every day and it's books.
Yes.
So I've learned a lot about just like neurology and how the brain works. And
Okay.
your brain, while it's trying to help you, is also lying to you,
Mm.
right? So there is just natural processes that happen, be it when you're afraid, when you have anxiety, and your brain's giving you signals and telling you to stop and telling you to do this. So what I have found is like when I'm getting this stuff about, oh, I messed up, I missed yesterday. I can't do this workout, whatever it is, you can say to yourself, hey, thank you for that information, but I'm not going to do this right now. I'll
Sure.
I'll take this information in later. And you can make a deliberate choice to not engage with like negative feedback that you're getting from your brain. You
Mm.
have to choose it maybe over and over. Your brain might keep telling you, you'll never be able to do this, you'll never be able to do this. And you say, hey, you know what? I think you're trying to look out for me because you don't want me to hurt myself. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. And you kind of think of that chatter as like a separate person. So
Mhm.
like I have named my negative talk in my brain Linda Lame Sauce. So if Linda Lane, I'm like, hey, Linda, beep, 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 beep.
I love it.
Nobody asked for your opinion. So you can think of if I have so many books and stuff, we could talk for hours.
I know,
But
honestly,
just
I want to add to that
yeah,
because I also read something as well. And we
mhm,
have approximately 80,000 thoughts per day. And
sure.
out of those 80,000 thoughts, 80% of it is negative, believe it or not. 80%. Can you believe that?
That
So,
sounds about right. Yeah.
yeah. So I like how you said you named your negative thought. And then you're
Hmm.
like, okay, now you're going to reframe it into a positive manner.
Hmm.
So never take the first thought at hand. If it's negative, switch it and make it a positive. So I like that. So thank you for sharing that. When you said
Exactly.
that, it made me think of that. So
I should have said too, apologies if anyone named Linda is listening to this. You're great. I just don't know any, I don't personally know any Lindas, and I like the Linda Lame Sauce alliteration. So
okay, that's fair. I like it. I love it. So I like to end each episode, Ashlie, with
yeah.
a question. And that question is, if you had any advice for a member or a non-existing member, what would that advice be?
Any advice for a member or non-existing member? So this is more like a platitude, and I'll try to turn into advice. Like you are capable of more than you think. If you had told me that at 40 years old, I would be going to the gym 4 times a week and in the best shape of my life, which like my shape was like so before. So like best is like whatever. But
There.
like I would have said that that's not possible. So really, that incremental stuff is what's going to get you where you want to be. So don't be afraid to do small things and celebrate those small victories, which will get you to the big ones.
I like that. So I honestly I want to end it there because I think that could go for either a non-member or an existing member, either or. So that's really good advice. And I'll be honest, this
Yeah.
is probably the best advice after interviewing hundreds of women because when you interview so many people, you almost start to hear the same thing, but I've never
Yeah.
heard that one before. So that was really good.
All right.
Yeah. Kudos to
Yay.
you. Yeah. I think it's all those books you're reading. You're starting to
I
man,
got like, there's just stacks of
look at
books everywhere.
that. And I'll end it with this. And I was speaking to Jess about it earlier because we were talking about learning and seeing you read all your books and reading your bio saying you love to read. And it's like the more you learn, the more you earn. So girl, keep getting at
That's
it. I feel
right.
like, hey, there's some money coming your way. So that being said, totally off topic, but thank you so much, Ashlie, for coming on the show today. Ladies, thank you
Yeah.
so much for tuning in of another episode of the Lady Strong Fit Cast. Have an amazing day, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you like this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel or find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or whatever your favorite place is to listen to podcasts. And if you really liked this episode, please leave a review for us on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.